I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms. Grand Rising, and thank you all for joining us on this Thursday edition of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and I am so pleased to finally be joining me in the studio, our co-host, Kareem Hamid. You get a chance to see the face behind that illustrious voice, and you'll get a chance to communicate with us face to face on our YouTube and Facebook page, The Female Solution. And you'll hear about some exciting growth happening as we continue to expand and take advantage of the growing technology that allows us to interact every day, face to face, and even over the phone, as we talk about the issues of our time. Well, of course, we are often realizing when it's time to make a life-changing decision, because life gives us cues that it is time for a transition. It's time for growth. It's time for evolution. And we shouldn't ever be afraid to evolve. We shouldn't be afraid to grow. We shouldn't be afraid of that next chapter in our lives, because that's what we're here to do. We're here to grow. We're here to evolve. And we're here to become. And so today we want to talk about, how do you know it's time to make a life-changing decision? And joining me is our co-host, who we hear every Wednesday. And I want to introduce to you the voice behind the name that we put on the screen. And this is our dear brother, Reem Hamid. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum assalam, Naima. Alhamdulillah. So good to see you this morning.
Yes.
Praise be
So
to
good
Allah. Alhamdulillah. Praise be to Allah. We're
yes,
grateful for this wonderful technology, the
yes,
blessings
we
that
are.
God has given us.
Yeah, y'all know I've been trying to get him on screen for like years, right? So, so here we are. We finally get to see the face behind the voice, and I'm also very pleased that we have a chance to let our viewers and listeners know that we we are multiplying the platforms where we will be able to be accessed. And you can go to our website, thefemalesolution.com, and you can pick any platform that you choose. Of course, we've been connected to Blog Talk. Blog Talk is going through some changes,
Yes,
but that has given us an opportunity to explore some new avenues and to create. And we've been, over the past several years, working on creating a media network that is global, called On Air. And it stands for Online Network of Associated Internet Radio Hosts. We have discovered so many communicators from around the world who are on the vibe of raising human consciousness, helping us to evolve spiritually, helping us to grow in our awareness and transcend the limiting programming that has kept us in a state of
pain and suffering and unnecessary struggle. And so we have a global radio TV guide on that website, which gives you the links to programs that we recommend that you listen to. And of course, yours is one of them listed there. Go to onaireverywhere.com and just go to the radio TV guide page, and you will see the link to Brother Kareem's Saturday show, as well as many other communicators from around the world on various YouTube and podcast channels, because we want you to elevate your consciousness. We want you to become the person that you need to be. It's time for a change. And so these challenges have given us the opportunity to learn and explore and create. And we'll soon be launching the On Air TV network in 2024. Look forward in January. We've been uploading videos from our programs, and we'll be on one of the Roku channels you'll be able to access on your big screen TV. And we've also developed the on-air radio network so that people can listen if they're into podcasts and listening. Maybe they're driving, maybe they can't look, but they can hear. And so we're also giving people opportunities to access it on our own radio network, as well as many of the other podcast channels. We connected with Podbean. We're also with Blog Talk. And then, of course, we're being shared on other networks through Podbean. And we're excited because people can tap a link on their phones and get our programs. And so, like this right here. So go to onaireverywhere.com. And you can, of course, hear and see programs each day, but we want you to go to the Female Solution website, and you can select each host's Facebook or YouTube channel for the day if you want this visual connection. Each host, in addition to being on the Female Solution page, they're also on their own YouTube and Facebook channels. The whole thing is accessibility. So we know that Blog Talk has been going through some growing pains, but that has, in fact, made all of us grow. So we're grateful, because that means for those of us who have been afraid of technology, we now are learning that it's not as hard as we thought. And so we're growing, and we're strengthening the ties of our global family. And as a result, we're becoming better people, because we're getting to know each other and we're getting to appreciate each other. And that's why we're here on this earth at this time, to go through this growing process, because Earth itself is growing out of the phase of ignorance that it has been trapped in, and is evolving into a place where only higher consciousness can exist, where only love is the motivating factor for our actions. That is the phase that the earth itself is evolving to. So when something is about to make a change, and there's about to be a new birth, a new creation, sometimes it seems like chaos first. And then we see the explosion of new life, new ideas, new creations, a new way of being. So we're going through the birth pains right now on the earth, as we see, the wars, the conflicts, but it's the stages before the new creation emerges. So today we want to talk about, how do you know when it's time to make a life-changing decision? Whether it's to get married and change your entire lifestyle, whether it's to get divorced and change your entire lifestyle, to go into the unknown and separate from that which has been familiar. What do you do when you believe it's time to take that job that would take you overseas, away from your family and everything familiar, to a whole new country and culture and language? What about if you want to adopt a child, bring somebody into your family that's going to change the family dynamics and life as you know it? What about if it's time to start that business that you've been afraid you didn't have the capacity to make successful, but you know you got to leave where you are? How do you know when it's time to make a life changing decision? That's what we're talking about today. And we've got some people that have joined us on our Facebook and YouTube channel. And we've got Mama Joy, our second Saturday host. And she says, thanks, Naima. Rolling with you the first half of the show. Today is Wednesday, and I have a class that starts Wednesday at 8 a.m. Let's get into the issues of our time. It's life, love. Oh, thanks. Yeah, love you too so much. And she says, oh, Brother Kareem, see, everybody wanted to see you.
Alhamdulillah. I'm glad to be
Oh,
present.
this
Praise
is
Allah.
great. Yes.
Alhamdulillah.
And she says, yes, it's time for a change. And you and Brother Kareem and your other female solution hosts are on time. Yes.
Naima drug me forward.
Yes. And the dragon kicking and screaming.
Thank you.
Here he is.
Yeah.
Yes. And she says, yes, be grateful. Yes. So, you know, this is this is a time, and people often make New Year's resolutions. Oh, this year I'm going to lose 30 pounds, or this year I'm going to get married, find a spouse, or this year I'm going to, leave this job I hate, or this year I'm going to start that business. This year I'm going to do this thing that I've been thinking about but afraid to do. Well, we want to talk you through that process, because what keeps us from doing things pretty much is fear. We are fearing failure, and so we stay stuck. And it's time to get unstuck. It's time for us to move forward and stop believing that we can't do something. And so we want to examine some of the things that keep us stuck in a situation when all the signs are telling us it's time for a change. It's time for growth. It's time for evolution. So, Brother Green, tell us about a time in your life when you've had to make a life changing decision that wasn't easy, but you made it anyway. Tell us about that.
Oh, well, there have been several times in my life I've had to make changes, even geographically. Um, there's one thing that is constant, and that is change. Change is constant. We're ever evolving. The times we're in is ever changing. The subject matter is ever changing. The themes of things are ever changing. And we grow. We grow due to the opportunity to change that have been presented to us. Um, I made a very, uh, I said, monumental decision in my life when I left my home city of St. Louis and moved to Detroit, Michigan. That was a major move for me. It was the first time I had ever lived in another city other than St. Louis. And I learned a lot with that move. I got in contact with people that were very beneficial in my life. I It is in Detroit that I was introduced to, well, not introduced, but it is in Detroit that I joined the Nation of Islam at Temple Number One on Linwood Boulevard. That was a major decision for me. That was a life altering decision for me. To I gathered enough information. Before we make moves or choices, we need to thoroughly have a grasp of what we're changing to. Sometimes we'll get a whim. A whim is just that. But we need to educate ourselves on whatever choices that we are making. And with my connection with the Nation of Islam, I studied very hard. I was introduced to different ways of thinking, different concepts, different perceptions, and that enriched my life. Uh, you can only you can be given a life that's not yours. You can be given a life that's not yours, and you try to fit that life. The suit just don't fit. The life doesn't fit. It's too constraining. Too constraining. So my introduction to the Nation of Islam, it was a perfect fit. It broadened my perception. It broadened my way of thinking. It gave me some standards and disciplines that I incorporated into my life. And as a benefit of that, I have fared well and I'm faring well now. But that was a major decision to change a religious decision and a way of life. But I did my investigation first. I attended several meetings first. I became acquainted with people in the Nation of Islam, and they helped to somewhat guide me, to answer any questions that I might have. So that was a major decision for me. And through joining the Nation of Islam, then I was introduced to the broader, universal concepts of El Islam, the oneness of humanity, the oneness of the creation, and the oneness of the Creator. That was a great reward for having made a change in my life. Reach a point where it's time to change. When you are a child, you play with childish toys. But when you become a man, a real human being, you put away such childish things and you learn how to be a responsible adult. So I must say that was the monumental change for me. And I'm so grateful to Almighty God for that. I'll stop right there, my sister.
Well, I think that that is one of those life changing decisions that uh, not only affects you, but often it affects everybody around you. I know that when I made the decision to make a religious change in my life and become a Muslim, I'd grown up Christian and so forth. I'd been doing a lot of searching, and I had been to a lot of various religious communities, various churches. I have a lot of friends that are Christian preachers, and I was going through a period of spiritual growth and evolution and searching for where my soul wanted to be. And I'd gone, the Hebrew Israelite community. I had traveled abroad with the Hebrew Israelites and Prince Asiel group here in Chicago to the World Conference of Mayors in Monrovia, Liberia. I think it was at the end of 1994. And through a series of events, I happened to meet a person who was part of a global Muslim community, and we got into a conversation. He invited me to a mosque. And then later I had a dream, and the dream was basically symbolic that this was the direction that my life was to go into in order to manifest the future, which I'm actually creating right now. And so from there, after joining that community, I met the man who became my husband. And of
Praise.
course, marriage changes your life. Um, we had a child. That, of course, was a life changing experience. Becoming a mother, it changes something inside of you because you are now responsible for another human being. And it creates a level of maturity in you that you don't get until you're responsible for another human being. And some people handle parenthood better than others. It's always a challenge of growth. Some people run away from parenthood in fear because they knew they weren't ready, and that's both male and female. But for me, it helped me with qualities that I needed to develop, such as patience, compassion, forgiveness for my own parents, because I realized that just having a child doesn't make you suddenly a perfect human being. Whatever faults you have, you're going to manifest them in that role of parent, and you're going to make some mistakes. And later you pray that your children forgive you for the times that you didn't know any better. But that experience also teaches you to look at your own parents differently and to realize whatever they did the best they knew how with the knowledge they had at the time. Many times our parents were not equipped with the understanding that we wish they would have had because the knowledge wasn't available. They were following old belief systems. They were following a lot of fear-based systems. And growing up in America with dark skin, they had to deal with a constant assault on their self-esteem. So when you come into a relationship with low self-esteem based on society's repetitive attacks on your looks, your intellect, your rights to be comfortable and be respected, you're going to have a lot of emotional wounds that your spouse can't even heal because they have their own and they don't even understand your behavior half the time. So our parents didn't have access to the kind of counseling and therapy and self-analyzation that we had during our time. They just did what their parents did. You tough it out, you fight it out, you live with whatever toxicity your personality produces, and that's just what it is. You just stay there and be in that situation, whatever your household is, however toxic it is, but that's what it is, because that's what you are. So I understood that as one raising a child, that I was infecting my household with all of my emotional illness that came as a result of growing up in this society. And I had to overcome those things in order for my husband to be able to tolerate me, because he had the patience that was necessary for me to grow. And he was 20 years older than I was. Mm-hmm. So one thing that we didn't have, I probably would have had if I'd married someone my same age, with that head-butting challenge for power that people have when they are struggling with self-esteem issues. Who's the one that's always right? Who's the one who's going to get their way? And yeah. You can't have that in a marriage. It's got to be a partnership of mutual respect. And so throughout our marriage, we both learned how to unlearn the things that damaged us, because our goal was to present a better growing up experience for our child than what we had. It was an experience that forced me to be a stepmother to children who were already in their teen years when I met my husband. So there was a different relationship. These were not children I was raising. They already were who they were. So I needed to be able to fit into the family and bring a spirit of even a healing spirit, so that his previous wife was able to be in harmony with me, because you're going to be at family gatherings and the children don't want to feel like they got to choose between, well, which one should we invite, which one should we not invite, because we don't want there to be tension. I had to realize that it's my responsibility to be in harmony with their mother, so that they're not in distress whenever the family has to gather. So it took some growth, but I'm grateful for having made that decision to marry, because it changed the trajectory of my entire life. And I would say that what set it in motion was that trip to Liberia, because that set everything else in motion that led me to meet my husband. And that was one of those decisions that I made when the opportunity came up. And whenever I get ready to make a life-changing decision, I say to myself, if I do nothing, my life will stay exactly as it is. If I make this decision, this could change my life. My life as it is not satisfying. Therefore, I need to make this decision so that I can make it. And I would say to anybody, if your life is not as satisfying as you want it to be, and there's an opportunity for you to do something radically different, make that change, make that decision, step forward. Do not fear, because we're here to grow and not to stay in the same rut we've been in year after year, decade after decade. Growth is good, and sometimes it's scary because sometimes people don't agree with your decision to grow. So at the top of the hour, at the 8 o'clock hour, we're going to take a quick break, and run a visual ad. Give our host a chance to breathe a minute, and we'll come back right back. And we've got a number that you can call in for those who want to hear their voice as part of this discussion. And that number is 312-721-6428. It's on your screen, and we want to give you a chance to interact. And of course, you can see us on our YouTube channel, The Female Solution, and our Facebook page, The Female Solution. And we want you to also download the app for Podbean. That's one of our audio channels that we're adding. And of course, you can go to thefemalesolution.com and follow us on any of the audio channels, because we really want to give you an opportunity to participate in our discussions as you've been doing. And Blog Talk has given us an opportunity for growth, to create a media network that is global and that connects us to like-minded people, meaning people who are committed to elevating consciousness so that the world can go through its birth pains and then emerge as a new being, a new creation, a new elevated place where we are living in peace. That's what we're all helping the earth to evolve to. And so we're grateful for our longtime listeners and viewers and those who follow us and listen to our shows in the archives and listen to the videos and watch them later, because I send it out to hundreds of people every day. I send the links out to hundreds of people every day. And so if they don't get a chance to join us live, they can watch it later and reflect. But we always appreciate those who've been with us over time, because it's your ideas that give us inspiration. So we want you to really think about the life-changing decision that you know it's time to make in your life. Are you in that long-term relationship that you need to define it? Had you grown to the level of trust in that other person where you think, well, maybe this needs to be a spouse? A lot of people are cohabitating out of fear that if they marry, they'll get a divorce. And then if they've been through a divorce, there's so much emotional pain and feelings of failure attached to that they never want to experience that again. So they just figure, well, if I never get married, I'll never go through pain. But they don't realize that breakup of a long-term relationship is the same pain. The only thing different is that you're not paying a lawyer to do it, so you don't lose as much money, unless you can't resolve your difference. And then we see a bunch of court shows of people who have been cohabitating. They've been roommates for years, and they're fighting over who owns what because they don't have a legal agreement that defines it, such as marriage. So sometimes you don't even avoid the legal pain, but the emotional pain is still going to be there. So you're not avoiding it by not getting married. You're actually just keeping your relationship on a level of fear and insecurity and uncertainty. And maybe you're in that long term relationship that has ended, but you're afraid to leave because you're afraid of being alone. But it's not satisfying and it's not helping you to grow. But you're there because you believe maybe at this age I'll never find anybody else.
Naima, I heard a song a few days ago that speaks directly to what you are saying now
Hmm.
by Gladys Knight. It's so hard to say goodbye.
Oh, neither one of us.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
Neither one of us want to be the first. Now we know that the relationship is dead, but we don't want to be the first to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And in that lyric, she said, "I keep wondering, what am I going to do without you?"
Ooh. Yes.
So we just go on hurting and pretending and trying to convince ourselves that we'll give it one more try. Uh,
Neither one of us.
Neither one of us want to be the first. Well, have the courage. If you know that this isn't working, you be the one to have the courage to say, hey, this isn't working. Matter, I have been in a situation whereby I had to state to this person, I have to do something different. Well, see, and you this and you that and you this and you this and you that. Well, in all likelihood, you're right. I may be guilty of all of those things. But that's not the issue now. The issue is that I know that I have to do something different. I have to change.
Yeah.
Not you. You don't have to change a thing. That's not on you. But I'm responsible to make the change that I know I must make. And some people stay together because they will separate, and after a few weeks, they start missing the drama. They start missing the drama, and they feel somewhat lonely. And just out of those two emotions, they get back together and haven't resolved the primary issue. So, choice is good, and we do have to make choices. Uh, God tells us in the Quran, never will He change the condition of a, a people until they first change what is bothering their soul or their heart. And fear can really be a great, it can limit, it can limit the opportunities and the opportunities to change, to do something different. Insanity is described as doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. Uh, so we shouldn't fear change. That is how we grow. Sometimes situations can be so bad that, okay, the situation I'm moving to is no better, but it's different. It's different. So I'll stop right there, my sister. But we have to overcome fear. Fear is a motivator now, but we have to overcome fear and make the decisions that will enhance. Here's something else. you know, we speak of our families,
Yes.
and sometimes that keeps us from making a change. Well, because my family, they're depending on me. This, that, my children, whatever. But Almighty God says, save yourself first,
Save yourself first.
then your family.
Yes,
You can't save your family if you have not saved yourself.
that is true.
You have to make the necessary corrective injunctions in your own life to be of value to your family. So I must say, I'm so grateful that I'm not the man I was uh,
Mm.
prior to 1969 and some years following that.
Ooh,
Yes, I'm very grateful to have made a change. You know, so let us not fear change. If you have a pursuit of education, enter into that. Don't just enter into it, but move cautiously in the things that we change to. Don't let it just be an impulse, just something I just feel like. No, don't just feel it. Think it
yes,
into your mind. So I'll stop right there, my sister. The choices, and we're grateful to have choices. Praise be to God, we have choices and free
yes,
will to enact those choices. But we must get beyond and the list keeps on growing. What will people say?
yes.
For real? Come on. What will people say? You know, when I knew that that was a controversial issue in my family and people that I knew. But I found what was best for me. I found what fit me. And eventually, over time, they saw the improvements in me. And matter of fact, my eldest sister said, "You know what? I'm so grateful
Mhm.
that you became a Muslim. Oh, boy, you were something else." and she, but we coalesce together. It's about bringing about the best principles, the best behavior, the best environment. Uh, uh, we are agreeable on so many levels that now she has no negative opinion of a Muslim. Why? Because I'm demonstrating that in front of her. Her brother is a Muslim, and if someone says something negative about El Islam, she will check them.
Mm,
Let praise be to Allah. Let us not be afraid to change,
ab-
and don't fear the criticism of the criticized.
yes.
You must change yourself first.
You must change yourself first. And I think because the world is going through this process of elevation as a result of our connection to each other through the technology that brings us action going on all over the world instantaneously.
Hmm.
We have to understand those who we had perceived as different.
Hmm.
So it's no accident that Islam has grown as a faith and belief and a way of life here in America during these times. We're witnessing this ongoing religious conflict overseas, and so many people have been indoctrinated with a fear of a religion based on incorrect information. And people such as your sister can testify that no, that's not what it is. My brother's a Muslim. Well, the same as my family. When I became Muslim, and I went through a bit of a physical change in wardrobe because women dress in a way that's very much uh, in
About it.
contrary to this society. And show it all. If it looks good, let everybody see it. And I'm wearing these long clothes, these long gowns, the head coverings, and that was even a period I was wearing the face covering, before COVID. So it was frightening to people who didn't understand what that meant. But my family saw that my character changed a bit because I was kind of one of those hothead people, argued a lot. And so that needed to be modified. And, other things that I needed to work on in myself. Not being so critical of other people, being more patient, more generous. All of these things that the faith teaches us in terms of character and how you express yourself, I sought to manifest that and become a better person. And the name that I chose was different than my birth name because I wanted to manifest the qualities. And Naima means benevolent. Of course, it's the feminine version of Naim. And the word benevolent means basically one who is giving and kind and loving without expecting anything in return. It's unconditional love. And that's what I wanted to manifest in my character. So when you take on a name, you desire to manifest those attributes. And there are people who say, oh, you are not the same person you knew back in the day. Now, back then, I thought, oh, I'm perfect. I don't really have any faults. But I did, and still do. But the self-awareness is different. I'm quicker to self-correct if I say something that might be hurtful. I'm quicker to feel that change on the inside. To say, that wasn't nice. You need to fix that because you hurt that person. I'm quicker to correct myself if I hear myself being critical or condemning of somebody. So the increased awareness of myself makes me correct myself. And that's really all of us. That's what all of us need to do, is to correct ourselves. We're not here to make somebody else be something or change somebody else into something. We're here to be our best selves. And if everybody worked on themselves, then we'll see the world change. And that's what we're all here to do. We're here at this time to work on ourselves. So whatever that process is, whether it's a changing relationship, a changing atmosphere, change where you live, change out of your home environment, move someplace else, the internal change of a different spiritual path, whatever it is that will help you evolve, make that change because you're here to become your best self that you can be. And we've got some more comments here.
Naima,
Oh, yes, we do.
we are in a different world now, whether we understand it or not.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful to have been properly prepared and educated
Yes.
to meet the universal reality that we are in now. The
Yeah.
universal reality. And the Creator says to us in the Quran, I made you different nations and tribes so that you become familiar and acquainted with one another.
Yes.
And that the human being is one soul. Next Wahida. We are one soul. And the more we get acquainted with other people, we see, well, he's just like me. He has some of the same concerns I do,
Yes.
the same interests that I do. Let's see, can we work together and help each other and make these desires and wishes a reality? I don't care what label you utilize as your spiritual expression. You have the freedom to do that. You have no challenge from me. Please follow your religious choice. But at the same time, we all have an obligation to look after humanity and the creation, regardless of our labels. We're in a whole different world now.
We're in a different world. Yes, we
It,
are.
it does not. I'm so grateful. I no longer think all white people are devils and all of that. That the earth has shifted.
The earth has.
God has moved the creation forward. Don't stay stuck back there. You will get out. We're all one.
Yes, we are. And
Willing to change.
yes, any belief system that is making you think that you are inherently better than or a different species than some other human being, any belief system that is making you believe that others are somehow lesser than you, any belief system is something that you need to evolve out of, grow out of, because ultimately we're heading toward the consciousness, like Kareem said, of oneness. We are all the same. We're all the same energy of creation that we call God. We are all expressions of God. We are all the same in importance and worthiness. And so if you're stuck on a belief system that's making you distrust someone because of their outer covering, their religious label, their physical features, their status, how much they have or don't have in terms of material possessions. If you're stuck there, it's time to grow out of that belief system, because we are growing up as a human family, and you're not going to see your life improve until you take that next step of growth. And Mama Joy says, I am grateful for Brother Kareem expanding and sharing his mind shift in the nation of Islam. I heard a beautiful, peaceful chime of gratefulness. Chime and charm, my brother. I am so happy you allowed us to see you and experience the warmth of love you are surrounded by. I am receiving a different Kareem this morning. You made a decision and it's impacting me. And she smiles. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Joy. And I look forward to more interaction with you, inshallah.
Yeah, we're going to see you every week now.
Alhamdulillah.
But
Thank you.
sometimes it takes something happening to push us to that level. And we've been experiencing some issues with Blog Talk a while, and I know that it's not easy for this company that's got hundreds and hundreds of podcasters depending on it to be going through this prolonged technical difficulty, because that means people are going to go elsewhere, because we've got an audience and we don't want to disappoint our audience. And that's why I'm grateful that we had already prepared with multiple platforms.
That's right.
So that if one thing doesn't work, we can go to the next thing. If one platform starts to do that little censorship thing and say, well, we can't play your program because you did X, Y, and Z, or you said X, Y, and Z, and that violates our standard. Well, we go to the next thing. And then we get to a point where we begin to create and discover. And this is what lets us know that when something happens, it's not a bad thing, it's a good thing, because it's propelling us forward. So now, many of our hosts, at first when we first decided to move to the visual platform, it was a bit challenging, because that meant you had to master your computer, you had to learn how to work your smartphone, you had to do some things that if you felt technologically challenged, it might have been intimidating. But then COVID came along, and suddenly we were forced to use these computers because people couldn't leave their homes. Teachers had to teach a different way. You had to do it through a screen. You couldn't do things in person. Everybody was on Zoom meetings, and so you had to learn how to connect visually. And then that means other people came up with other visual platforms. We discovered StreamYard, which connects you to all your social media as you're broadcasting. So now we're on Facebook, YouTube. They just added Instagram, and so you got all of these ways to connect, because one thing creates a challenge. So don't be afraid if something in your life is creating a challenge. It is the incentive that you need to grow. It's all about growth. And Mama Joy says, what a beautiful, what a powerful personal testimony. I lost many opportunities because of fear. When you have children, they impact how you navigate because you have to consider them. Thank you so much for doing that. Yes, that does. And Mama Joy, and you got to listen to her every second Saturday here on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. Mama Joy and her co-host, Reverend Rosemary, they have some very elevating conversations that help us to think and challenge us to grow spiritually, because that's the journey that we're all on. And we want you to consider what your life is telling you about the time for your change. And Robert Young has joined us, said, excellent subject. Yes, thank you, Robert. We appreciate you so very much. It's always a joy and a privilege to see that people have chosen to share their time with us. And once you go to the www.thefemalesolution.com, our website, we're so excited. All the wonderful things we've been doing, we're going to tell you about after the break, because we're here to make a difference. And sometimes it's time to make a change. We'll be right back after this quick break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
And we are back. You are watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, along with our co-host Kareem Hamid. And as you were speaking, I put the words that I always put on the screen when we're hearing you. It says voice of co-host Kareem Hamid. But see, now we don't have to put that on the screen because we can.
Alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah.
Yes, yes. Alhamdulillah. Praise God for the opportunity to grow today.
You know,
And
Naima,
yes,
we, without difficulty, we won't grow.
we won't grow.
Without
That's
an
the
obstacle,
man.
we won't grow. And, it is translated in the Quran, uh, after difficulty comes the relief. But Imam Muhammad had a deeper insight into the era of the Fusha, the language that the actual text. And his commentary on that, it now remember it says it's written after difficulty. But Imam Muhammad said no, in the difficulty there is the relief. In the difficulty there are the answers. While you're in the difficulty, it leads you to ease and the answer. So let us never shy away from difficulty or so-called problems.
Yes,
Out, get in it. The answer is right inside of the problem.
the answer is inside the problem. That's the important thing to realize, because the problem itself is showing you what the answer is. So think of some ways that you have been given signs that you needed to change something. And that gives you the answer you've been seeking. First of all, we're not here to suffer. We're not here to be perpetually frustrated or sad. So the first thing is, how do you feel? If you're feeling uncomfortable, if you're feeling less than joyful, if you're feeling depressed, if you're
Fulfilled.
red, that's the sign. Your feelings, that's your internal guidance system. Anything that makes you feel bad is motivating you to change something. So think about how you feel. Think about if you don't like the job that you're in, and so many people don't like the job that they're doing. And a lot of people didn't realize how much they hated it until maybe COVID made them change some things, change the way they work. They realized they hated going into work every day. They hated fighting traffic. They hated struggling for parking. They hated that work environment. But they didn't mind doing the work from home. It wasn't the work that they didn't like. They didn't like that whole experience of going there and then being away from their house where they're comfortable around people that they didn't necessarily want to be around. But then when they could work from home and eat when they wanted to, not have somebody watching the clock when they go and get a sandwich, they enjoyed work so much better. And many companies found that people didn't want to go back to the old way because they hated it. And many companies made adjustments so that people could continue to work from home because they realized, wait a minute, we don't really need to pay for this big office space and everything, because we don't really need to have people physically around each other. We just need the work done. So a whole lot of businesses have reworked the way they do things. A whole lot of companies have gotten rid of the big office space, and they're doing a lot of things remotely. And everybody is happier, more productive, because that process of going into a place they didn't really want to be at, they eliminated that. And that changed a lot of things in the business world for the better, because people actually were not going through that day-to-day stress. And so it was a good thing that we experienced. A lot of companies that couldn't make that change and kept waiting for things to go back to the way they were, they went out of business because they didn't make the adjustments. I mean, if you were in the food industry or something and people liked your food, but the restaurants had to shut down during COVID, if you didn't figure out a way to come up with a delivery service, you probably didn't survive. But you had to think of something different. And thinking of something different created different opportunities. People who had cars could now make a living delivering food or groceries.
DoorDash.
And yes, I mean, I had a lot of friends that worked DoorDash and Uber Eats, and it became a way for us to interact and work together, because now you need people to be the go-between between the place and where they need to deliver the things. And so it created jobs. It created another whole opportunity for a lot of people. So it was a good thing. There was so much good that came out of COVID, which we thought was a horrible, but it really was not. They say, well, people died. Well, that's the cycle of life.
You're gonna die anyway.
Yes, you're not here to stay. This is a temporary experience. So COVID gave the opportunity for some people to go back home, because that's where we came from. But what do we say? What does the scripture say? From God we come, to God we return. So what's bad about going back to God? That's the best place to be. This is just a temporary experience. And it's difficult for people to realize that death is a choice of the soul to go back home. The conscious mind may not realize it, but every soul comes here on a journey back home.
Mm-hmm.
So
the minute we are born, we start dying.
The minute we're born, we're on that journey to return.
Right.
This is just a temporary experience. So COVID was an opportunity for people to choose to go back home. That's all it was. It was not tragic. It was a decision of the soul to leave.
The sign of COVID to us, it was an introduction and a prelude to the universality of humankind. It
Yes.
was a loud statement, not
Yeah.
whispered, but very. It was screamed at us. You are all one.
Yes.
We were all affected by it.
Yeah.
And I encourage people, don't don't resist where God is moving us. You will burn yourself up. You will be friction. Friction causes heat and fire, and friction is that which goes against the grain. Against the grain. I
Yeah.
just remember my wife and my daughters were saying, "Kareem, you need to get a cell phone so you can call mom." I don't need no cell phone. I can stop at a phone booth. They said, yes, good. All right, let's see how that works.
There are no phone booths now.
None. And I'm so grateful I mean, this thing here is it's a portal to the world.
Yes, a portal to the world.
That's
It
right.
is a portal to the world. And the thing about it is that it is a personal computer, a camera, a recorder, a television, a radio. It's all of these things. It's one little device.
No,
Can you imagine people who took a long time to make that transition to a cell phone? I had, older friends who it took a long time. They didn't want to carry around a phone for whatever reason. They felt like they couldn't work the phone. Yeah, it's just this whole idea. Well, I don't know how to work this. It's a phone, people, but it's so much more. And it was created by human beings, and anything a human being makes, another human mind can also understand it. It's not beyond your level of understanding. So yes, it there's always a transition period
yeah,
between the old and the new. And when you look at how do you know it's time to make a life-changing decision, things that are old are no longer
use.
sufficient. They're not useful anymore. Look at how long it took to get from, say, radio to TV. Because,
Yeah,
back in the day when my mother grew up, everybody, you sit around the radio, you listen to shows, and it was nice. And then television came along, a whole visual thing. Well, having a TV, that was a special thing. Only certain people had TVs. Now people not only have a TV in every house, some people have a TV in every room. So, but it's a whole different platform. And now our lives are built around the television set. And now we're at the point where we've got this portable TV set in a real sense. So you're not just sitting in one room, you're walking around and you're taking programming with you. So with the internet, you've got people. It used to be only the major networks could tell you what was going on and could give you ideas of what's happening in the world. Now literally everybody can be a news reporter, a TV host, a radio host, because you have the capacity in your own personal device. So now our view of the world is different because we're hearing so many different voices. So this change that's happening is bringing us back, what did we say, to that oneness. We're all one, we're all connected, we're all influencing each other. And like you say, COVID was a very loud reminder that what we do influences everybody. You never think that somebody sneezing can make people duck for cover like bullets are flying through the air. But when you have a contagious disease that people believe could lead to their extreme illness or death, then what you do to your body is affecting them. What's inside of you could come out and hurt them. Well, it's the same thing with our behavior. What's inside of us that comes out of us affects everybody and could hurt people. So that's why we have to choose to change what's inside of us in terms of our character, so that what comes out of us is helpful and elevating and life enhancing. So I want to see my brother and sister discover a faith, a belief system, an understanding of the divine that shapes their character and improves them, because it's going to improve the quality of my life, because they're going to be a better person.
Hmm.
I don't need you to believe what I believe. I need you to believe whatever it is that enlightens you and makes you better. If it's another path, another faith, another belief system, but I see you becoming better, I'm going to encourage that.
That's it.
It took us a long time to get to that point
Yeah.
of realizing that God speaks all languages and through all faiths and to all people. It took us a long time to come to that realization, because we wanted to believe I'm the right religion, I'm the right racial group, I'm the right gender, I'm the right body size. I mean, all these incidental things that are
Superiority.
just,
Superiority.
yes.
You know, it's that we are in, I won't say approaching, but we are in the Christmas season. We are, and you know, my family, the majority are Christians. I have a brother that is a Hebrew Israelite, a sister that's a Hebrew Israelite, and another brother that is a Muslim. But we go to the family gathering. We go to the family gathering for the benefit of the family gathering and us enjoying each other. So I don't let a different perspective, how I see God, keep me away from giving my humanity, from being human to another human person. So we are coming into oneness, and those that fight against that, it's as I said, the earth has shifted under your feet. It's like spitting in the wind of a hurricane. It's over. It's over. I don't know how long this period shall last, but we're definitely in monumental change. And you see how the whole world is judging what is happening in occupied Palestine? People from all over every walk of life, every country, every major city. It's not happening to them, but we are connected as human beings. We feel that. We feel the pain and the suffering of another human being, and we are urged to correct that and speak to that. So God is shouting at us, and I hope uh, that we enter this new world that He has created for us. There's so much benefits coming from it. We just don't know the great benefits in the future for us
Yeah, great benefits.
if we change.
This war, it's affecting us, even though we may be living in another country. But as you say, it's our Creator screaming at us. It's time to stop. It's time to stop.
Hmm.
And people are horrified because you've got atrocities being committed on both sides,
Hmm.
and everybody is upset. But the people who are evolving into an elevated consciousness are taking the side of peace. Means we need to cease the violence. We need to make a decision to stop teaching our children that anybody is their natural enemy. Because this is what
Right.
the Muslims and the Jews in that region have been doing for generations.
But
Raising,
let me make a correction there, Naim. For real, that is not a long-term situation between Muslims, Christians, and Jews. Um, how can I, they lived among each other at peace. When you look at the history of Spain,
yes,
it was ruled by an Islamic government.
800 years.
The Jews say the most profitable time of our existence was when we lived in Andalusia,
Yes.
the Muslim rule of they admit that. And matter of fact, as we speak, there is a Muslim family that is entrusted with the key to the Holy Sepulchre Church.
Mm.
They have kept, they passed that key on to coming generations. That key is 800 years old, and they are guardians. They are guardians of the Holy Sepulchre Church.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, if the truth be told, when the Jews were catching hell in Europe, it is the Arab lands that invited them to come
Yes.
and
Yes.
get refuge here.
Yes.
It is the Muslims that fought off the Inquisition, the terror that was taking place in Spain. So we have lived together for thousands of years. Don't buy that. They've been fighting for thousands. That's what they say. But the real history is that they have lived in peace with each other.
Yes.
They
They've been
have,
in peace more than they've been in war, which means
right.
return to peace.
We
And
can always return. We can
and so
always return to peace.
and I know you all have talked about this on shows, uh, the origins of this present conflict. It was a political decision
Mhm.
made by people who had a political agenda.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is, and many of the people who are of various faith communities have allowed themselves to be manipulated into taking sides, believing that God's people are these, or God's people are that. No, we're all God's people.
Thank you.
But you have to look at what is right and fair. And when people have lived in a place and it has been their home, you don't just uproot people from their home because you decide another group of people should be there. And I believe I think this past Sunday, our Sunday host, Friday and Sunday host Beata, she did a show about what happened with the Native American communities here and the Trail of Tears, removing people from their land and how cruel and brutal that was. Well, when you do something that's hurtful, the effects of it doesn't go away. They don't go away. Eventually, the pain that you cause is like a seed that's planted and it manifests in the future of people responding to the hurtful thing that was done to them. And you have to look at what seed was planted when the people were removed from their home in Palestine. And you can't make it be something, well, the Bible says this, because how many times has the Bible been reinterpreted and reinterpreted and reinterpreted and reinterpreted by people who had a political agenda? There are principles of living that we have to follow in order for there to be peace. The reason why during that period of time in Spain, during the Muslims being
The governor.
the governing force, the reason why they prospered because there are principles that make a society prosperous. And one of those main things is fairness for all.
Freedom of religion.
When people have access to the things they need to make life comfortable, when people have access to information, education, self-development, the ability to trade with each other and to provide for each other's needs, when people are given respect, then there's peace. You can't have peace in a society where you've got a large group of people being suppressed and forced into a state of impoverishment. You're never going to have peace until that's resolved. There's the same thing everywhere in the world. Anywhere where there's an oppressed group of people, there's going to be conflict, and it's going to escalate into violence, and everybody's going to feel the effects. So just like we saw with COVID, everybody's affected. And we've got a caller on the line. We've got Mama Joy calling in. Thank you so much for joining us so we can hear your
Welcome, Mama Joy. That beautiful laugh.
I'm shocked because I'm so accustomed to getting the prompt and press one and to just call and hear your voice. I said, is this correct?
Yes.
You know, I like what Ruby said. Anywho, how, whatever. You know, anywho, you know, I am so excited. I had to get leave, and I said I gotta come back. I am so excited about Brother Kareem.
Yes.
And his surroundings. Brother Kareem, I can see the love all around you with those beautiful pictures that are there.
Yes.
My daughters and my mother. Praise be to Allah.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Because when you're on the phone, you sound so hard and you're always something. I said, morning, I felt such a gentleness. I found a comfort, and I found you still the masculine man, but I found a gentleness in you. And I think it was just you sitting here and having that spirit that exists in your home surrounding, and we're entering your home. I just thank you. I just thank you so very much, and it really helped me, you know, to see you and your posture. So I'm grateful, and so I just thank you for welcoming us into your kingdom.
Ah.
I want to thank you, Mama Joy. Praise be to Almighty God. All praises due to God.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. You know, praise be to God.
And it, you know, I'm still running, but I thought I had to wait and press one, so I wasn't quite ready for y'all. But I guess that's the way Allah works. You know, hey, on the carpet, get on it. You know,
that's right.
I think this is a very, very important topic, and I thank you for your testimony, Naima. You know, I think that we're in a time where we're beginning to understand that it's okay to share our personal experiences. And we're learning how to do that. You know, I've never heard you speak about your marriage and all these different things you went through. And I think that that's been part of the missing link, is that we go into a teaching mode all the time without really sharing. And the success comes when we're able to open up our heart and understand that the person that we are, and you said it earlier, the person that we are right now is because of these experiences. Huh?
Yes.
And if we had not had these experiences, would we be able to have the courage to bear love, a loving spirit, and a peaceful spirit if we didn't? Look here, just put it like this. We went through hell, but we came out like the three children of Israel. We came out beautiful.
Yes.
We got burned, but we're not smelling like smoke. We don't have the remnants of all of that on us. It has made us and enabled us to be able to find the purity of God within ourselves, and come back to the original authenticity of our true self. Oh my God, did you like that?
I like that, Mama Joy.
Well, we appreciate you so very much for calling in, and we are looking forward to your next show. I guess that'll be the second Saturday in January. So we'll hear more. Next year, yes.
Oh, praise.
I wanted to ask Brother Kareem, continue sharing the good message of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad.
Alhamdulillah. Yes, ma'am. Most definitely.
Because I keep in mind that he said and he was the last messenger to the black man in America. That's it. He was the last messenger to the black man in America.
Mm-hmm.
And when he left, where has the word been? One of the things I loved about him was when that Muhammad speaks, when he would write, he always was able to tell us something when the weather changed. You know, we don't have somebody telling us about the weather, how we connect with the weather, and
Yes.
what it means. Wasn't that profound?
That
You
was
don't have to
profound.
write that.
That's
Profound.
right.
He
Right.
let us know. And when they had predicted a storm and there was a parade going to be done, I remember the brothers about Islam getting out there in the street, and the clouds came over, and it was getting dark. And he told us, look, it's not gonna. We control that. Come on. And look, a little precipitation came down, then the clouds parted, and it didn't rain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You just hear Allahu Akbar.
Mm-hmm.
God is great. Yes. You know,
Do that again. I'm
we
not
can
gonna
do
hold
that
it, but I
again.
just have to say that.
But
I love it.
But thank you so much, Mama Joy. We just love you and appreciate you so very much. Thank you for reminding us of that incident. Because nowadays, people are understanding because we're all energetically connected. We're all projecting our energy. We are affecting the weather. So
Yeah.
when we're distressed and angry, we're sending that energy out into the atmosphere, and we're affecting our weather. Yes, we are. Yes,
You know, Almighty God says that the creation will react as though it was receiving revelation.
yes, that is what's happening.
So this global warming,
Yes,
melting of the ice caps, the rising of the seas, that is our mother talking to us.
yes.
Mother Earth.
Mother Earth is talking to us. That's right.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Yes. Well,
God
thank
bless
you so
you
much,
all.
Mama Joy. We
Thank
appreciate
you, Mama Joy.
Look forward to hearing your voice on the Female Solution and seeing your face on the Female Solution.
Thank you. I think you're doing this awesome work.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mama Joy.
Have a great day. All right.
Amen. Thank you.
And that was Mama Joy. And of course, we're excited because we get a chance to demonstrate that which is within our power to control. And we're excited because we are on the cutting edge of life. And we're excited to be a part of the change. So,
The mailbox belonging to 7.
So, one of the things that we want to take a look at is what is it you fear when it's time for a change? What is it you fear? And we're going to take one last break and come back. And I want you to think about it. Of course, you can give us a call. And that number, again, is 312-721-6428. And we'll gladly add your voice to this conversation. What fear did you have to overcome in order to make a big decision that changed your life? Think about it. Was it your fear of failure? Did you hesitate to get into a relationship because you feared someone breaking your heart? What is it that holds you back from starting that next chapter in your life? What is it that you have to overcome inside? What do you fear? Or what fear have you overcome and now you're doing that thing that you thought you couldn't do? Feel free to share with us. We'll be right back after this brief break. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. We'll be right back. So stay with us.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
And we are back. You are listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. If you are watching us on our Facebook or YouTube channels, then you, of course, will see the illustrious face of our co-host, Kareem Hamid. And, you know, it's interesting what Mama Joy said, but actually, seeing a person does change your perception of them. And how many people have we changed how we felt about them once we saw them? Because now we see the whole essence of their being. And this is why being able to see people around the world changes our perception of them as well. I remember when I was a child, you know, they talked about the Vietnam War, and for some reason in my mind, you know, because I guess it happened during the same time as the space program was going on. So I was visualizing Vietnam as being somewhere in outer space. And then as we begin to see people and see the Vietnamese and see the, you know, the children and all that, then you got a real feeling of people going through difficulties. And then we got the protests of the war because we were seeing suffering. And we were seeing families just like ours, mothers with children, and we were feeling the distress of the people, and then people felt the moral wrongness of being somewhere where there was a conflict and we couldn't even explain what the conflict was, and yet we're supposed to go and kill people? No, I'm not doing that. So seeing people help to heighten the anti-war movement, because war is being brought into our living rooms through our television sets. We're seeing what it looks like. We're seeing the horror of it. And we don't want to cause suffering. We don't want to support suffering with our tax dollars. And we don't want to be made to go and cause suffering by being drafted by the government. So this was one of the major changes in our society in our times. Seeing things. People become humanized when you can see them. They become a real person in your mind when you can see them. And so this is what is part of what's helping us evolve into a people that will not tolerate the use of violence to resolve a conflict, because we see the horror of it and we don't want to see that anymore.
You know, Naima, there's a narrative that's being expressed, and it's true, that we hear what the Zionist government of Israel says. We hear what they say, but we actually see what they do. They are targeting journalists now because the journalists are giving us a visual of human suffering. And that's just seeing that. And I remember during the Vietnam War, do you remember that a picture where a young Vietnamese child was running down the road naked and on fire?
I think that was the bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. That was one in Vietnam as well.
Yes. That picture really, I mean, it was over then. I mean,
I remember that in
right.
Vietnam. Yes, that was one of those images
That's
that really spurred that anti-war movement.
Mm-hmm.
And like you say, journalists who are bringing you images, bringing the reality of it, they're being targeted so they can be silenced, because it's believed that if people don't see these horrors, then we can tell the story the way we want it told. And that's how powerful it is to be a communicator.
there.
You can bring the truth to people. Their own eyes can see it.
Mhm.
And this is why we've got protests here in Chicago every single weekend. Downtown, crowds and crowds of people have been protesting the war. And so, and we've got a caller on the line. We're so excited to have our people call in. And please introduce your wonderful self to our viewing audience so we can hear your voice and put your name on screen. Yes, this
Brother
is
Obadiah.
Brother Obadiah. Thank you so much for
Good to
joining
hear from you, my brother.
today.
You know, one of the reasons I always call this program is because it's about solutions. If you look at most TV and everything, they're always talking about war, stress, worry, trouble. And life is driven by your own energy and by your own vision. So it's necessary for you to do different things than what they're telling you. It's just like you always talk about all this stuff. It's time to cut it off and go outside and just listen to some nature, give us some direction. Television gives us too many negativity things. That violence as a form. Why do you think people so good? Because you know, they shoot on trains, they shoot people on buses, they just roll up and kill people on the rock. What's wrong with them? That they would even do that? Is it because they see too much violence? It makes them feel like they want to do the same thing? And then lastly, that COVID so-called scare, I think that was strictly just crap. You know, if you believe something, you can automatically be taken in by it. I never believed COVID at all. I have friends sick with it, bed sick, written sick. I went over their house, cleaned up their house, and never caught anything. I mean, and then yet, to show you how bogus it was, truly, how do you bring in migrants from other countries and they never been tested and none of that? I thought they told us we couldn't be around each other. But how are you going to bring in people from another country, stick them in here and say that it's safe? Somebody lied, y'all.
Wow. You know, I'm glad that you mentioned that about the fearlessness that some of us had during the COVID spread. I had a lot of friends that were just so paranoid about breathing. And
You know what?
how are you going to live and not breathe?
Your mind is a brain-driven computer. If you tell yourself this scared, you'll be shaking all over. If you tell yourself, I can do this, to walk in there with nerves still. But you do have to be prepared if you're going to step in like that. You just can't walk in and say, I'm not scared. You better be prepared to do something.
Well,
So,
yeah.
I just find it interesting because see, society is all backwards. It's like they're focusing on a war in another country that America got their big imprint on. Give you the money. They didn't give us no reparations. We'll give the money to them so they can keep buying war here. So, but then that's our fault because we need to step away from this society totally, man. That black and white story, they lied about that. I told people back then, if you got talent and gifts, you can fix something and somebody needs to fix it, they do not ask what color you are, they ask you how much.
That's right.
You need to have talent up front. They need you more than you need them. The only reason it works is because we fall for that stuff. So all the time I call up, Naeem, I always say we should start this thing with $100. The reason I say this because we can control our own destination. Don't you know 100 of us can make $1 million every few months if we join together and put our little money together? But we don't have any unity. Nobody believes we, us, and our community of thought. It's we, us, and our. We just join together to help each other. We don't even need them.
Well, you know, when
I think people don't understand that.
Yeah.
Let me say this one personal experience. Everybody thinks they want a job, right? Apple Computer would be the job that everybody would want, right? But guess what? Apple doesn't hire people that way. Apple sent me a Mac through the mail and said, would you like to work for us? I said, sure, why not? They identified me because of what I know. They were the ones seeking us out. So when we got to the training class with some 50 of us from around the United States, they said, you know what? We picked you 50. You're the best 50 of over 1,500 candidates that we chose. I didn't go looking for the job. I had a talent and skill. They came looking for me.
Now that is a
We
life
know
lesson.
so therefore, your power. They don't control you. You control them. And I left when I wanted to. They made me mentor. I was teaching new people walking in the door.
Mm-hmm.
And there's some man that came in. He became my supervisor. He decided he was going to demote me. So I told him, I'll see y'all later. I'm not going to take no demotion. And I walked away.
And you walked away with your skills.
I don't need them, period.
Because you still have your
can
skills.
Generate anything I need.
Yes.
I can help anybody generate any amount of money they need. You can make them $10,000 in 2 short years. I'm talking about cash you got, not in the bank, just money you can have if you're smart. We go for this consumerism. It's Christmas time. Let's buy. Buy what? What do you need to buy? You got everything you need.
Yeah, I know. What do you need? More stuff?
Yeah, well, I think mortgaging up their houses. God gives for these children. If the children grow up, they don't care nothing about you because you didn't care nothing about them. All you thought about was material things, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good luck. What a way to live.
Yeah.
That's called living.
Yeah. And then
He's our mind.
Yes. Well, Brother Obadiah, you
Obadiah.
Yes. Well, we'll keep contributing to the conversation because you're enlightening us every day. Yes.
We're the solution.
We are the solution.
We're the light in the room when it's dark.
Absolutely. We're the light in the room when it's dark.
Thank you so much.
Be the light. Thank you so much for sharing.
Thank you, Brother Obadiah.
Right, Brother Obadiah.
Wonderful sharing.
One of our brilliant minds from Chicago. We thank you so much. You know, he pointed out several things which, if we think about it, we can figure out what our next step needs to be. When you have when you have a knowledge, skill, a talent, an ability, and it's something that solves a problem. In his case, he's got computer skills. Who in the world doesn't need computer skills now? Because everything is like computers. So he prepared himself with a skill that society needs in these times. So he doesn't have to go begging for somebody to help him out. He has what they need. So they're seeking him out. So all you have to do is develop your own skills, your own interests, your abilities, your talents, and be prepared when the opportunity comes, because people will seek you out. And if you're not treated well among the people that you're providing your services to, you have the power to choose to leave. You don't have to take mistreatment because you have the skill that people need. And this is it at this point where a lot of people, they hesitate to leave a job where they're not happy because people are not treating them well out of fear. Not having the confidence that what you have is valuable to others. You can choose who you share your gifts and talents and skills with, and you can choose to share it with people who appreciate you. It's the same thing in a personal relationship. If you're staying where you're not being treated well because you're afraid, well, you know, I need their half of the money to pay the rent, or, you know, I need them to clean the house because I don't even know how to manage a household. I didn't learn any of those things. Or well, you know, if I leave this situation, then I'll be alone, and I don't know how to be
alone.
I don't know how to be alone. If you're not being treated well where you are, that is the sign for you to move to something else, because you're supposed to be in a state of peace and joy, not suffering. We're not supposed to be suffering through life. We're supposed to be enjoying life and learning lessons in life and expanding our awareness so that we can create and contribute to life. If that's not happening, wherever there is a conflict, that is the sign that it is time for a change. And, you know, and Obadiah also mentioned about the finances, and we're excited because we're doing some things on the Female Solution that give people a chance to participate in the growth process. And our new Tuesday host, Zoe, is an international businesswoman that, you know, sells products from China and other places that she travels. And so we've got a show, Shop with Zoe, and we've introduced some products that not only can people buy, but they can make money selling. And we've got a whole new program called Prosperity Partners. And you can go on our website and become a prosperity partner, because we're giving you a chance to go into business, be an international business person from just your cell phone, just a tap on your cell phone, sending the link to our products page to people that you know, and you get paid whenever they buy. It's so simple. And we want to take people out of the mindset that they can't survive without that job that they go to and don't want to spend time at, but they don't think that they can do something else. You can make money from other people spending money. So you can be a prosperity partner. Go to www.thefemalesolutions.com/prosperity-partners and sign on up. And it's so simple. All you're doing is sending a link on your cell phone to your friends, family, and acquaintances. They're getting paid when they shop. So
Naima,
spread the prosperity. Yes.
we have to be willing to invest. The leaders are of the investment class. You know, um, uh, we have to be willing to invest in an idea. It can
Yes.
be an idea
Idea.
and someone else's idea. They share it with you, and
Yes.
it's so clear, so beneficial. You see that the result has a strong possibility of being successful. The
Yes.
person with the idea does not have the full amount to finance the idea, but we have to become investors once more.
Yes.
Invest in our wonderful idea. Invest in ourselves. That's our invest in ourselves. You know, so that's just another strata of life that we are deficient in. We, you have to go it alone. No, corporations, praise be to Allah, corporations are in cahoots with each other. It looks like they are competing with each other, but they're not. They're not. They're in cooperation with each other. So
Yes.
we have to be willing to invest in the good that we see. It's all around us. We are very talented people, very bright, very talented.
Yeah.
But we have to be willing to invest in ourselves and other people too. That's one solution. We have to be willing to invest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Everything that we use came from an idea, and somebody put some money behind an idea in order to make it work. So
Yeah.
you have to believe in something in order to put forth the resources to make it manifest. And you'd be surprised how the world can change. And Robert Young says we're all about solutions, and we're part of the new paradigm that's coming. That's right. A
There
new,
we go. That's
we're
right.
thinking differently, and that's what's changing the world. And our Friday and Sunday host Viata says, "Grand Rising King and Queen. Nice to see Brother Kareem's handsome face." Oh.
How how are you, Beata? Praise be to God. Praise be to God.
Yes, it brightens the quality of our show being able to see you. It does.
Oh no, it really lifts my life being able to see you
Yeah.
and actually making verbal contact with the listening audience. Praise be to Almighty God. I thank Him for that.
Yeah.
So rewarding. You
Yes.
know, Naima, we have to limp to also broaden our vision,
Yes.
broaden our scope. I'm grateful that you have with you someone that is involved in international business.
Yes. Yes. It's
The,
changing
right. The world is our market now.
the world. Yes. Yes. Because we're constantly buying and selling things that are being created by people in other countries.
Hmm.
And we have the same power to create and send what we develop, what we create, what we manifest to another country as well. The world is our marketplace.
Right.
The world is a place of abundance. There is no reason for anybody to be
No shortage.
poverty. There's no shortage.
God has said that.
Just need to share. That's
Mhm.
all.
That's
And
all.
that's all business is. I'm sharing with you something that I've created that you need. You're
Mm.
sharing with me something that symbolizes the energy for me to go and benefit somewhere else.
Yeah.
And that's all currency is. It's energy. It's a symbol of my gratitude. And
Mm.
I'm sending you gratitude, and you take that gratitude and you give gratitude to someone else who's giving you something that you need. It's an energy exchange. That's all it is. And there's enough for everybody. There is no shortage. So all we have to do is share what we have, and everybody will have what they need, and nobody will feel like they have to take from someone because it's no need. We all can share. There is enough. That's one of the biggest mistakes and perception that we have been taught is that it's not there's not enough. And if you don't get your share, you're gonna suffer. That's not reality. And that's why we're changing the way we think so that we can live in a new reality that we're creating where everybody has what they need and everybody is contributing to the whole because we are one,
That's right. One humanity.
one humanity.
Thank you.
So we're excited and we're looking forward to continued growth in this coming season because as we continue to expand and our Thursday host, Dr. Debbie Green, she is expanding her services and giving you an opportunity to get some real personal counseling and help that you need. She's been wonderful every Thursday morning, been my personal therapist.
Mm.
And she just hadn't sent me an invoice for her services, but she has definitely helped me a lot. And so she's going to be initiating a program called Rise on Thursday evenings. And you can go to our website. We're going to keep you abreast of our hosts that are doing programs on their YouTube channels, Facebook pages, and podcast channels so that you can benefit from their knowledge and skills. And of course, our website is www.thefemalesolution.com. We're going to be expanding in 2024, not only on multiple platforms, but also on television. And we're looking forward to you continuing to be a part of the elevation of our consciousness as we share with our listening and viewing audience the information that can change their lives. It's certainly been a joy to be with you today.
I thank you, man.
And thank you to our listeners who are also our viewers and new to call in to the new call-in number 312-721-6428. We will be continuing to allow our interaction both visibly and auditorily and all of the various ways that you can reach us. You'll be able to just pick whatever outlet you want. Just go to thefemalesolution.com. That's www.thefemalesolution.com. And you can just select whichever podcast channel, audio channel, video channel that you want to tune into and connect with us every day with every host. And we'll continue to see you and hear you on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. And next week, we're going to see Brother Kareem right back here on the Female Solution.
Inshallah.
Inshallah, God willing. Well, thank you all so much, and we will see you again next week. Join us tomorrow for the big send off of our dear Dr. Debbie Green as she gets ready to help us rise. See you tomorrow, and enjoy the rest of your day. And until then, continue to shine your light.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.